My name is Joanne Peden, and I've been making documentary films with Nevada Indian people for about 25 years. Stewart Indian School is a project I worked on for quite a while. I was on the advisory board for several years, and I really support their efforts to restore the campus. It's beautiful, beautiful stone buildings. An interesting story about how those stones were gathered. They're from all over Nevada. And when the personnel, I guess I'll say, the personnel from the school would go out to get students to bring to the school, they would bring back stones. They were told to bring back stones and have them to build the stone buildings, because initially they were wood. When you see the old photographs of Stewart, the buildings were wood and very dark and dismal, hard to heat, but they burned and were eventually replaced entirely with this beautiful stonework. There were other people that we interviewed too, painting the Stewart S, which had been done in the first time. I can't remember the year, but Hillman Toby was the first student, among the first students that went up and threw whitewash all over the rocks on this very steep hill outside of Carson City on the east side. There is a building, it's not restored, but it used to be the hospital, the clinic. A lot of the students developed tuberculosis and were sent to other areas. But that's where girls learned to do their nursing. They had music lessons, and then they had the various places where students went to learn their crafts, and you rotated, so you might work in the kitchen learning cooking, you might work out in the carpentry shop, you could work on the farm. They had a farm group, a lot of their own food, had their own animals there. So it was quite a thriving operation that was in a lot of ways self-sufficient, especially in the earlier days. A lot of the students, they were great athletes, by the way. They had a boxing team, basketball. They competed in this with even University of Nevada students back in the day. People were heartbroken when Stewart was closed down, when the state closed Stewart. Unlike a lot of the other Indian boarding schools, Stewart had a good reputation. Maybe in the early years there was some difficulty with excessive punishment or cruelty. But that was a place for students to go, and two of them I know that I interviewed, both Hillman Toby and Francis Hooper, wanted to go. And they went to Stewart and were sent back because they were too young. So there are, you hear horror stories that, they're taken when they're just little young babies or from their parents. Well, that wasn't the case at all. And some of the people that I interviewed said it was a wonderful place because where you grew up in your own community, you had no idea there were so many different kinds of Indians. You got to meet so many people and make friends, from Moapa down in southern Nevada up to Owyhee and Elko. And those friendships have lasted, and people gather at the annual powwow. They have a dinner the night before, and people come and greet each other, and there's an Alumni of the Year award. So it's a lot like any school that you're very fond of.